And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another weekend edition of the WardiTV Monday. WardiTV Monday number 55, your weekly dose of WardiTV action. Whew, we are here, we are back, and I do apologize for the delayed start. We unfortunately did miss out on game number 1, but we are able to jump in mid-series into our first series of the broadcast. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Magnatha, we have our South Korean Zerg player. We have the Red Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Rogue. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the Italian Protoss player, the Italian Protoss himself, the Blue Protoss. It is LetaleX. For the Platinum Heroes, here we go. Oh. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we get into our ZvP. Here we go. So I'm just trying to double check and figure out where we are to make sure that Rogue is indeed up 1-0. I'm not entirely. I have to. Let me just double check. Un momento. Yeah, so Rogue is up 1-0. And we are jumping in mid-series. Again, a little unfortunate. We did miss out on game number 1. We did miss out on it. We were unable to catch it. Originally, we were actually going to be jumping into Beyond versus Trigger, but I believe Wardi jumped on that series, so we decided to give him some space and tried to jump into a second series instead. By the time we did, well, we were a little bit too late. We're a little bit too late, but regardless, we're at least able to embrace game number 2. But now Hatch Gas Pool, standard opener out of Rogue, likewise standard opener out of LetaleX as well. Standard openers all around as we do settle in. Also, as a reminder, unfortunately, we have a vanilla ladder map pool for this tournament for the WardiTV Monday, so that is unfortunate here. Just a vanilla map pool. I believe the TLMC tournament did conclude over the weekend, and I believe voting is finally open. Voting is finally open for the Team Liquid Map Contest number 21. After myself, remember to vote as well. We'll most likely do so after this week's Tuna Cup, just to make sure we get as many games as possible, just so we get to experience some of those games as well. I'm also very tempted to maybe like kind of flick through and watch the Wardi tournament as well. I feel like there's a lot of games that occurred there, of course featuring a lot of maps, and I feel like I need to catch up on that. I guess we have the option to cast it via replays as well, but I don't know, we might just watch it. We'll see. We'll see. Yep. For now though, Stargate opener out of LetaleX, opening up Stargates as to be expected, getting to an Oracle, getting to a third base, everything's looking normal. Unfortunately, we missed out on game 1, so we don't really know what happened in the first game and how our players did kind of approach each other and how we're going to be adjusting coming into game 2. Now we're feeling each other out. Now we're calming down. The Oracle is on the way. Their base is being taken. Again, everything's looking normal so far from the side of LetaleX. And I'm really excited to see kind of how Rogue can approach this. I guess I have something to get into is the bracket itself. Exclamation mark B in the chat to have a look at the bracket. The bracket is stacked, and this week we actually are featuring a decent chunk of Zerg players. We have Rogue, we have Lambo, we have Solar as well. So I'm really excited to see how they fare and how they've been able to evolve over time. I know that Zerg players have been having a really hard time this patch, especially in the ZvP matchup, and we'll see if that trend continues. Just because of how much more powerful Storm is, how it's being used as a zoning tool, and how easier it is to be more defensive and turtle up. Coming into this, there is a skill disparity, and Rogue is still the favorite player here, but we'll see how LetaleX will approach this, as he's going for a faster Robo. Hello. With a faster Robo here, it could be Prism into Temple Archives. Are we going for a delayed Archon drop? It's been a while. Has been a while here. Yep, there it is. War Prison's on the way. We're expecting a Temple Archives. We're expecting a delayed Archon drop. Okay. This is a build that did permeate throughout the European scene. Yep, there it is, Temple Archives. So again, Twilight Council into Robo Screams Archons. The way you go about this is you're going for a delayed drop because we're not going into DTs, we're going into a Temple Archives instead. To open High Templar to go for the Archon drop across the map. This is a way to keep the Zerg player busy while you build up into charge the Archon back at home. It's a way to gain map control, it's a way to harass. And here comes the Prism, here come the Archons. As Temple Archives is almost done, it's lined up, or by the time the Prism gets across the map, Ling will scout the War Prism. Rogue is aware. As the Prism moves out, the Lings, they move in. We do have a Stasis Trap, we do have one Adept. Shield Battery is on the way. And Rogue, he will bait out the Stasis. Not bad. Does bait out, it does get eyes on the War Prism. Lings are reacting where the Archon, that does not work in the Archon in time. And the Archon drop is delayed. Oh, even more than usual here. It is going to be delayed quite a bit. This entire time, Archons, they should be harassing, but right now we just kind of warp them in for Cerebral, and Rogue is going for the Bane Bust. He's going for the Bane Bust. He's cutting workers here at 41. He's undersaturated here on his third base. Fake drones, fake saturation. Oh, Banelings, they crash into the gateway. They don't get any damage done. But there's no storm. Yeah, there's no storm. Baneling crashes into the mineral line. Where are the Archons, Pappy? Yeah, the Archons are just so delayed, so late. And even though the Banelings didn't really do any damage at the natural, it doesn't matter because the third is going to go down. Third base is going down. Banelings, they try to crash in. LetaleX is stuck on two bases, and the third is going to fall. Ay. Yeah, just a really rough start here for LetaleX. He was unable to warp in Archons, unable to deal damage across the map, and likewise unable to defend back at home either, as he still had no Archons, even defensively back at home. And with that, Rogue can just chill. He can just chill, back off. Now he can start droning. He was committed with 41 workers earlier, but now he's droning up to 56. Now he's taking up into the lair, into the Roach Horn. He's getting into a longer game state. And LetaleX, he still has a ways to go. From here, he's turning this into a 2-base all-in. Makes sense. I mean, what else can he do here? So we have 8 gates in production alongside the 3 that are already done. Oh, we have a 9th gateway on the way. Jesus. So getting up to 12 gateways. This expansion should never finish. Jordan will never complete. And we're waiting for the gateways to kick in. Gateways to kick in, and for LetaleX to just send everything across the map. He's slowly building up those Archons over time, which would be ideal against Ling Bane. The problem, though, is that Rogue, he's building up his Roach army, which is exactly what he needs. So it's going to be Ling Bane, Roach Ravager. Going to have a much more robust army to work with. Lings, they peel off towards the third. I mean, now he's moving in. Go for the warping here on the front lines. Zealots are getting on top of the Zealots. Where's the Ling Bane? Ling Bane's out of position. Okay. LetaleX making the most out of this push. Breaks through the first line of Roaches, but he's running out of steam. He's running out of steam. He has no warp-ins. Prism goes down. And Rogue, he will clean this up. GG gets called, and Rogue will take the series 2-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Rogue, he will claim the series. He will advance on into the next round, and now we can catch up on what the next round is going to be. Let's go. Meanwhile, a big shout out to LetaleX. LetaleX, of course, he is a great player in his own right, but again, Rogue is one of the best Zerg players in the world, so it was a tough opponent to go up against. Winding it back when it came to the build itself, LetaleX, he did go for a delayed Archon drop. He went for the Twilight Council into Robo into Templar Archives. This has a lot of potential. It can do a lot of damage, but if you remember, he never got to morph in the Archons. Lings that were there to deny the High Templar. They were there to ensure that the warping never occurred, that the morph never occurred, and he was just caught with his pants down, right? He couldn't harass across the map. He couldn't force supply to stay at home. And Rogue, he was committing on 41 workers into his own Bane Bust. Didn't break the natural, but broke the third. GG. GG, well played. With that, Rogue, he will claim the series. Meanwhile, big shout out to Inko0 in the chat. God, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the subscription. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the casting. Hope you enjoy the StarCraft. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it, as we are heading on over and we're catching up on the rest of the bracket as we have our next series, we have our next opponent. From the top, we do have not really many updates here, as we just started, we just began the tournament. We have Max waiting for the winner of Beyond and Trigger. Wardi is covering that series. We were going to cover it as well, but again, Wardi has dibs. So we, of course, did look for another series. So Beyond versus Trigger into Max. We have Geralt versus Mana in a PvP. We have Uwu Thermal waiting for the winner of Lambo and Rebellion. I believe that is being covered by Steadfast. So Steadfast is covering the Lambo Rebellion series into Uthermal. Meanwhile, we have Ryung versus Ragnar into Solar. We have Rogue versus LetaleX just wrapped up into Classic. That is our next series. So we're going to be following Rogue into Classic in the round of 16. Un momento.